experimenting with an 11 o'clock Monday meeting to give you some recovery time from Sunday. It's still in beta stages, but I'll keep you updated. I want to tell you guys up front that I don't like meetings. So this was a standing meeting when I stepped into this role. I don't want to get rid of it. I don't like meetings, but I like connection. And I think this is a good way for us to connect, but I don't think we need 90 minutes every week. I think we might need 90 minutes sometimes, but we don't need it every week. I also don't think we have to unpack what happened in every campus every Monday. That is not to say that I don't want to talk about what happened at your campus. See how I'm like balancing everything? What I'm not saying, what I am saying. I just want us to use our time wisely. I want us to get face to face with each other and see each other and pray for each other, encourage each other. But I just don't think we need 90 minutes every week to do that. Is there anybody who is adamantly opposed to that or thinks I'm wrong? Don't be afraid to say yes.
No, I wasn't.
Morgan, I feel like is doing a dance inside her heart right now. So yes. So having said that, I want to look to an hour every Monday from 11 to 12, and you don't need to be here till 11 if you worked the weekend. If you didn't work, get your butt in here at 10. Okay. So that's my first spiel. My second spiel is two things. One, everyone got the email about our March 21st team gathering. I'm an 8. I like competition. I kind of want to make it a race between what campus worship leaders get the most of their teams there. I'm excited about that. But it would just be clearly by not numbers of people, but percentages of your team. But I'm not good at math, so that's why we can't do that. But I'm going to have them raise their hand and make some noise. And you don't want to have the woohoo one person. So I just want you guys over the next couple weeks to
Woodcrest, 100%.
Breakout session with me. It's a one-on-one.
That's right. Work really, really hard to get your teams together. We are going to have, and I'm going to be working on this week, I just want a really simple time for you to connect with your team. I want your teams to see you as the leader, not as a peer. You are a peer in some ways, but you are a leader, and I want them to see you as such. People respond to leadership. And I also want you to get a chance to personally encourage them for what their presence and their commitment means to their campus. So as we moved away from floaters, like just kind of floating around from campus to campus, what we should start to see over the next year is a real growth in less declines and more people showing on the weekend because they're committed to you as their leader and they're committed to their campus. And you have to be the ones who drive that. It's no longer we've done a shift from network sends me people and I lead them. It's now network is overseeing the whole organization, but we're trying to empower you to lead them, to care for them, to shepherd them. We'll be going through this year what that looks like to care for people, to shepherd people. For some people it comes naturally, from other people they're like, what do you like their birthday, what does that mean? So we'll kind of be putting some nuts and bolts into that. But that's what I want you guys to really be driving over the next couple weeks is you guys gotta come, you gotta be there, it's gonna be awesome. Eddie's working on the team and the set for the night. We also have Cultivate Gathering on the 15th. So there'll be more people that will be asking. So the 21st, we just want it to be our staff leading worship. So we don't need to pull any volunteers except for maybe drums, but maybe not. Eddie's working on that. Eddie's working on drums. What we haven't nailed down is the food item for the evening. I like Rice Krispie treats. That's just kind of, I don't know how I was feeling it. I don't know how to even do that, but I just got excited about it. I actually think if you have any good ideas that you should throw them our way because I'm not a party planner. And I've made Eddie in charge of the set and the team because Danielle is doing Cultivate the week before. And she also has a lot of other things going on, so that's why we're doing it that way. So if you have any ideas, thoughts, hey, what if we did this? Let us know. We could do popcorn, we could do whatever. I don't know.
Kebabs.
I don't know. Open.
Well,
Sorry, I was
Probably
joking,
not
but
kebabs.
apparently that didn't help.
We probably have to charge admission for kebabs. Second thing is, and this is something I really want you guys to think about, I don't want to add another form of communication, but I do not like Slack. So I don't have any way of knowing when I put something on Slack if you see it, if you don't, if you that's frustrating for me because there's some things where I feel like I don't want to be like thumbs up if you see it. Like that just feels. It also gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I put a note on there and then you say that was awesome, that was awesome, that was awesome, and then Matt Ritchie after 5 kids gets to it that night, he's having to go back to the original message. So I want to talk about something different that we could do. I don't want to start a massive group text. I don't want it to be email. Something that I have on Cultivate is we use GroupMe, which is basically like large group text, but everybody is able to. It's a real quick. You see the message, you can reply. You heart it. I know who's seen it. Your name all comes up. That, which I guess sort of we have in Slack, but it just feels like there's so many Slack channels. This would not be a hey guys, what are you doing today kind of a thing. It would be like an emergency. I need to know that you know this, that you saw this. For example, conversation from this past weekend. I was supposed to be off Saturday, but my phone was blowing up like with fire because of Saturday night services and adjustments, and there was 85 different threads I was on, and I needed everyone to know we're cutting. Lord, I need you. Like, and I need to know that you know that. So I kind of want to explore some options for that, just because as our team grows, I think I'm just not in love with Slack. So GroupMe is the only option that I have at this point. If you have another one.
What don't you like about email?
Just the time it takes. Like if I sit down to email you guys, I'm like, Delon, Pablo, like I'm trying to go. Whereas GroupMe, everybody's on there, and it's just a, hey you guys, this is, and again, we're using GroupMe for like need to know basis. I need to make sure you got this info right away.
Gotcha.
So you get a notification, just like you get a text.
Got it.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is there anyone who is adamantly opposed to that?
The only thing I'm thinking with GroupMe is you can't reply, so there's no threading. Like you just have a long list of responses if there is. Slack you can do thread replies. And so I'm doing a bunch of GroupMes right now, but they're just like long, and so you end up having to scroll back up to the original, which was one of the things you said that you were not loving about Slack. And so I wonder if there's a way for us to reuse how we organize and strategize our Slack.
Could we consolidate the channels on Slack? Because it just feels like there's like so many, and trying to check them all and make sure you're up to speed on all of them.
You can also choose on Slack like keywords or things that you always get notifications for. So that's a way to kind of like make sure and ping everybody if you have like a keyword that everyone gets notified for. Because that's what I have, like a couple of keywords I get notifications for, and I turn off notifications for literally everything else.
What are your keywords?
I think it's like band, music, set list, and lunch.
It's the basic. Well, if we had a keyword that we all established, then you could always make sure that it's typed before it. So, yeah.
And I think also
like
Dan was saying,
diarrhea,
like the way
and
we
then
use
word
language.
is, so we all know.
And
Yeah.
that's the diarrhea this week.
Diarrhea is
That's
a
for you.
I think we could also be better about threading conversations too, and just agreeing that, because then you don't have to, then everything, if you like throw something out, everyone responds to the message thread and not like a separate new, because every new one is going to like give you a notification if you don't have that turned off, and it's also going to like kind of muddy that up. But if everyone is just better about like when we reply, because it sounds similar to what you're saying that you like about GroupMe is like reply with an emoji and or
Thumbs
do
up.
that a thumbs up, or because on the phone it's really easy, you just tap on that message and then type in something instead of typing it in that window.
Maybe
I
we
wasn't
need
trying
to
to
use
whatever.
Slack better. I don't necessarily want to start another thing, but we need something that's a little bit more cohesive and a little bit more. Everyone's engaging with it like right away.
Totally.
So maybe that's just all of us getting better at doing that, or however you have your Slack notifications set up. Is there a way to have Slack notifications for Sandals Church worship come to our phone, but not Sandals Church?
Oh yeah,
That's what I need in my life.
Yes.
yeah. I can show you how to
I
do
need
that.
everyone else to
I
look.
need that
Because
in my
you're on there all day doing it. Like it's like, show me what's in the fridge. get up and go look and stop bothering me while I'm trying to work. You're like, sorry,
Oh yeah,
that's
no,
my
I don't get
personal
upset for
one.
any of that stuff anymore.
Let's
Okay.
come alongside this team, you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
We'll show everybody how to mute notifications.
Slack
Yes.
is beautiful. Oh my gosh.
I have all
Liberation.
Slack muted completely, but I think I have to change that now.
I think you can choose channels, keywords, and potentially people. I don't know if you can choose from like if I could choose like everything from Melody that goes through. I'm not sure about that one, but
Matt,
You're
you be
better
our
than
Slack guru.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we could probably, there's a few channels on there, like we can get rid of that.
For sure.
He did clean up the list a little bit, so which was good and helpful.
yeah, I'm sure there's a few we can still, and we can set the. I just never use it, but you can set a channel. What is it? The I don't know what vision, direction, instruction. There's a word that I'm looking for. but It's like no, there's like you have the channel and
It's
then
like
you
a
have like what
purpose.
you're using it for. Purpose. There we go.
Yeah.
That's the word. Thank you, Rick Warren.
Cool. All right,
What did you
we'll revisit that.
Said thank you, Rick Warren. It was a joke.
Oh,
Purpose,
purpose.
So just for now,
I thought it was-
if I put a message on Slack,
I do.
everyone just don't give me a separate message with a thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up to the message. If you're not sure how to do that, Matt Rachel will show you.
So group me that I got your Slack, and then
We'll email it to you.
yeah, I'll email.
I'm
I'll
gonna
send a
start a
screenshot
group
with
me
text
about the Rice
message,
Krispie treats.
Yeah.
Everything else is just gonna stay on
and then
Slack.
I'll tag Marco Polo to that.
Yeah.
And then we can just,
We should just have Marco Polo channel. That'd be
Arr.
crazy.
oh my gosh,
That'd
dude.
be crazy.
So thank you.
Okay, no.
That's just as a social experiment.
Yeah.
No, thank you,
No.
please.
Please.
All right. So what I would like to do is just do a quick, I like a snapshot from your weekend, just a snapshot, and highlight any volunteers that did a really great job. Highlight anything that you are celebrating, or as you're evaluating, you're going to tweak going forward. But just try to keep it super. You guys want a shorter meeting? We just have to package it a little bit tighter. Okay, we're gonna start with Garrett, who's at like Arrowhead for the first time. Garrett, give us your mountain snapshot, Mountain Man.
All right. It was good.
All right, good
Yeah.
It's like driving my high score home from school. Elijah, how's your day? It was good. What was good about it? It's over. Anything else you want to talk about? Mom's regular day. So, okay. Addie gets in, and it's all of the words. Yes.
I should know.
Somewhere in the middle, Garrett.
Yeah. Run through Sunday morning was a little hectic. Kind of seemed
Who's your production lead, by the way?
Daniel. Yep.
Okay, I don't know who that is. All right.
And
Samesies.
but I mean, it wasn't a production issue; it was a band issue. But we pulled it together. Services went great. I had a little bit of a hiccup with the way. For some reason, starting that song for me is weird. Like
He's
I want,
looking for validation from anyone who wants to do it.
100%.
yeah. I'm like, I want to go in. I'm like, missed it again, one more time.
It's like double dutch.
Oh man. So there's like kind of an awkward moment where I missed like going into it twice, and I'm like, it's okay, guys. Like this was planned. It wasn't planned. So that was kind of weird, but yeah, I started the song. It was fine. All the transition.
Just so you guys know, Matt Brown loves that song. Dan Zimbardi loves that song. So they loved it this weekend.
So get used to it.
I apologize. It's my fault.
No, they loved
Why
it.
did you do that?
I know, I'm supposed to
Crash
check
and
it,
burn.
but
DZ had
there's too many things happening.
was at Palm. Matt
The
loved
bridge is also hard. Is that just
The bridge is
Huh?
Gosh, I'm like, there's a new
It's actually a separate
the mercies are no.
He's just kind of like sort
Oh,
of straight
yeah.
off in his
it. I
thoughts.
feel like
and
he's
whatnot.
fusing. That's what it feels
Yeah,
like.
he is.
The bridge feels like. And you know what else?
He fears his doubts. Shoot, they can
I feel like I should have spoke it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
sung it. Like,
Yeah.
That's for
turn
next
it
time.
into like a real focus. Guys, there's a new horizon, and we are set on him.
Yes.
You can't say you.
Yes.
I am set on you.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh!
That's
It's funny.
my fam. Anyway,
That's funny.
bring it back.
Awesome.
It was good. I people come up like, "Hey, we're so happy we're here."
Yeah.
Some guy came up and wanted to take a picture with me.
Right on.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I was like, "It's all right, brother."
Did you bring the buck with you to have in the back?
Yeah.
I did. I always bring that with me everywhere I go.
Bring what?
Have you guys seen his Slack picture?
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
pull it up right now. Take a picture.
What
We're
is
using
it?
group meeting now. So we know.
What?
That's a lot.
I haven't found a good name for him.
What does he have?
His
Oh wow.
Slack profile picture.
Oh,
You are so made for Lake Arrowhead.
Easy tiger.
That's like
And
8.5 seconds 2 years ago.
That's
He
great.
killed that deer.
Right?
With his bare hands out.
Wrestled to the
That
ground.
was great.
Oh my gosh.
Spoke softly
I
as
was
he
like,
checked it out.
sorry. Everyone just needed to excuse that guy did this morning.
That was a good high five too.
I
That
can't
was.
do that, so I know it probably grosses you out.
Don't you go hunting on
Yeah,
Sunday?
that was my childhood.
Yeah.
So,
It's a lot
I found
of
out Steve
good
can play keys, right?
yeah.
Well, he was at Bear, right? He was at Marina Valley.
No, he's
He's
there at
next
the end of this month.
Guy.
I found out I have like a little bit of a hidden talent with Steve.
Hmm?
Nice.
It's kind of like during rehearsal, I'm like,
He's got like everything.
Don't let Virgie find out there's another keys player.
I know. He's like, I don't want to take Virgie's spot. I'm like,
Yeah, because he's
The
afraid
hell you
of
don't.
Are you
Delete.
sure?
I'm like, you don't need to worry about that, Steve. That's, you'll be okay. Like,
Garrett's like,
We'll protect you,
oh.
Steve.
That's awesome.
yeah, I remember.
Great update.
But yeah, thank
Cool.
you.
Way to go, Garrett.
Oh my
Morgan?
goodness.
That
That was
wonderful.
I know,
right?
Moving on.
Wow. My snapshot is that Anthony killed it. If you guys saw my Slack, he was, like, I gave him 3 songs. Like, there wasn't any like.
Morgan took a nap. She's like, Anthony, I'm tired. I'm out.
So glad you're here. Go ahead. No, but it was really cool. So the idea was we were gonna kind of like split it half and half in terms of songs. But we cut Lord I Need You. Totally fine. But he just like he walked in prepared on Thursday, had some mess ups, noted every mess up that he had, was so humble about everything, and like just grateful. And to work with somebody like that who is also super talented is like it was like such a pleasure to work with him. And yeah, anything that he like needed to fix on Thursday, any feedback that I gave him, he like took it and just like ran with it. Like, so he even was like practicing prompts and stuff in rehearsal, and he just like good energy, all that stuff. So that was just like a huge win. The way was tough, just like personally, I just not that the song content is bad, but the song itself, like okay, how can we spice this up a little bit, break it up, like so
Communion was a great place to introduce
it
it.
was.
And engagement was really high at Hunter Park.
Mhm.
So
I think Woodcrest likes it. I just don't like it. So
Yeah.
that's
We've
okay
all been
though.
there.
I
We
think
have
the second. But yeah, it was good. I had a good band and like great attitude. So it was a fun weekend. It was like it wasn't a weekend where I walked in like how's it gonna go? I feel anxious. None of that. It was just like okay, let's do this.
Great.
Yeah.
Mr. Eddie, who did all the
He
things.
sang all the
Yeah.
songs.
I did all the things.
Met Eddie when I was watching online. I'm like,
What happened?
Eddie.
Brittany Lacha was supposed to be with me, and then she
Forgot
declined.
she was right
No.
in here.
No, she had the opportunity to go somewhere. And so she took that a few weeks back. Okay. You're a volunteer, and I bless you. Thank you for serving all of the times. And then I tried with all fervor and passion to find more people. I even asked Tim on Saturday, like, hey dude, just if you feel like jumping in tomorrow morning, you can watch
So I
tonight.
was like, I
and just
had
hop on in."
Melody's kids for 2 days. I
Yeah.
can't do another.
His brain was fried, dude. He's like, You're cool. Just ask me. It's fine.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
No, it's fine. This is just one of those weekends. Then people are out.
You nailed
people are
it.
sick.
The way you
Made
ended
it
the
happen.
set, so good.
Made it work.
Like,
Lowered them keys. Singing man keys. It's good.
how did Andrew do his first weekend?
Andrew did great. His energy was good. He's had a little bit of pitch here and there as I listened back to some archive, but I helped really fill out that whole left side of the stage like super well. Engaged with the audience really well.
Where were you at?
Let's hear.
Okay.
In the room, he sounded good.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
like a
yeah.
tiny explosive.
Andrew,
Kristen did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Great job. I'm gonna skip over to Taylor. He has to leave early to serve the Lord at high school, Rocky Stone. Can you give us a brief snapshot of how your Wednesday night worship things have been going at the campuses? That'd be great.
Yes. So the most recent one I did was at Banning, and it was an awesome night. It was incredible, actually. It was really cool. I was there with Daniel Gottlieb and Phil Castro. You guys know Daniel. He's awesome.
And Phil's great.
He's incredible. Phil's just as incredible. It was a great group. Easy practice. Everyone knew all the songs. We're a pretty tight group already, so it's like, preparation isn't really a problem at all. And then we were working with Jack Leatham, and who was also super cool. It was my first time meeting him. But the night went really well. I was a little nervous about there only being there's 6 or 8 students and 5 or 6 leaders. So I was like, this is gonna be.
That's some good care and attention right there.
This is gonna be interesting. This could be terribly awkward and horrible, or it could be this really cool moment where it's very intimate and something the students remember, something we remember, where we all connect in this cool way. And that's what it ended up being. And that was what I was praying for, for a while, just with Banning going into that, because I knew it was smaller. And so our whole team, we were very intentional. Me, Daniel, and Phil, we all decided, and this is how we've been at every campus, but we've really had a chance to connect with these students since there's only 6 to 8 of them. We were we want to try and learn their names, talk to them, play the games with them, be getting this as much relational equity as we can, so that when it comes time to worship, they're in this with us, and we can ask them to go to these places and to be real. And I mean, that's what happened. So it was a beautiful thing. We did 2 new songs. We did a song "Never Stop" that I'm doing for all the youth rotations, and then we're doing "Build My Life," which they've probably heard, but we haven't really done it at St. Hills, I don't think, right? Not yet. We're going to. So we did that, and it was received really well at Banning. They were singing it by chorus too, belting it, and then we did "Reckless Love," and the room was just undone. So it was a really cool experience.
That's great.
And then before that, we had the week before, or a couple weeks before, we did Palm. That was a little bit different of an experience. We were kind of just wrestling with the students, it felt like, for engagement again, and trying to have that equity. And we tried to do the things, play the games with them, meet them, but it was just harder. We also didn't really have help from the leaders, which I think is a big thing. Trying to get in there and talk to the youth leads and be like, hey, we need you up front worshiping and leading your students and showing them how this goes. And we just didn't get that there. And even the leaders of the small groups were not in it with us. And so that, with that, it was a harder night. So,
yeah.
And then Woodcrest was a similar deal where we felt like we were fighting the kids the whole time for engagement. Morgan was there, so she knows what I'm talking about. And it was kind of the same deal where we did the things, we talked to the kids, we tried to have fun, play the games with them. Our whole team was awesome, great musicians and everything. But what I'm seeing is if we're not having these leaders engaging and leading the students and showing them how to worship, the buy-in is just not really there as much. So moving forward, just trying to speak into the leads and be hey, we need you to show these students how to worship God, and that this is something that is important, and all these things. So moving forward, I'm trying to be a lot more intentional, spending time with the leads, getting coffee with them, being just talking to them, building that relational equity, so that when I do go there on Wednesday, I can be hey, get your butt to the front of the stage and worship God. Don't be off on the side, doing nothing. Let's lead these students together.
Get your butt up here. Put your hands up. Jesus saved you from your sins. Okay.
But overall, I think it's been going good. We're starting to develop that culture, which is exciting, and I'm pumped to keep doing it. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Great update. Thanks.
Yeah,
Have fun too, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, it should be cool. I'll be at Cajon High School. They have a FCA that's
nice.
popping off there. They got 100 kids there. So Rocky invited me to come and hang out there, because I'll also be at San Bernardino this Wednesday. So
nice.
And I was there Sunday. So
Cool.
yeah, it should be cool. See you guys. Bye.
Trista, you were at San Bernardino?
I was.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it was good. At the front end, we had to do some adjustments to the band because my guitar player declined. So I moved. I wasn't originally playing guitar, but that was like short-lived. So I put Taylor on electric, and then I asked Matt to come in on bass, and then I played acoustic, and that worked out well. Rehearsal, I felt like was a huge improvement on the last rehearsal that I had there. Like, I've been talking with Aaron, and it's really not Aaron. Like, Aaron's really great. He's really collaborative and like communicative and all of those good things. It's just he's trying to train his like team, which I was like, that's great. You know, I think it's great that you're training these guys to do what you're wanting them to do. I saw a huge improvement on how they ran like the gains check specifically on Thursday night to how they ran it on Sunday morning. I felt like it was more cohesive. I could tell he was back there like, you know, do the drums. Oh, drums, yeah, you know, or guitar, you know, like having them prompt us. So, I was trying to leave space for them to kind of like manage their leadership in that way.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you want us to check? Well, you tell us. No, you tell us what you want us to check.
What do you want to check?
You know?
That's your job.
So I talked with.
I'm here to get checked.
I'm here to get
You're here to
checked.
check.
Yeah. So I actually had a really good like sort of debrief with Aaron, all the way after the service on Sunday, and I just told him like, hey, just reiterate to your team how important it is for them to like, to say, you know, to be the ones that say, hey, you know, Krista, are you ready to check guitar? And Taylor was right there with me, and I said, don't you agree? Like, if they say, I need to check your guitar, you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not ready, you're ready all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah.
So I said, you're prompting us, cues us to be ready. So take that initiative, and they don't need to feel uncomfortable with telling us what to do, because that's their job in that place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I feel like I'm making good progress with that team, and getting to know them, and Aaron's really always really like, do you feel like it's getting better? Do you feel like we're
I love
doing
Aaron.
better?
He's got a
Yeah,
great
so
heart.
he's really great.
Yep.
So that was a huge improvement from the last time I was there to this time. Even Sunday morning, our rehearsal sound check into run through, I felt went really smoothly, and it always helps to have rehearsal, so that definitely helps. But, so that was one point that I felt was a place to celebrate. And then I thought Gavin, because we had Gavin as a drummer, and Matt and I had kind of talked beforehand a little bit about like strategizing how to get him to prepare better. And so we sort of both agreed that like having him take notes would be just like a practical way for him to kind of, you know, hone in. Because he is kind of can be a little spacey, but it's kind of funny and cute. But when you forget all the things, it's not super cute.
Yeah.
So you know, I was more direct, and Matt was more like Obi-Wan, like, what are you taking notes on? You know. And I was like,
I was pretty
I was like,
direct. I
take
was like,
notes.
hey, did you take notes on that?
yeah,
Like,
He
how
was
are you
full.
taking notes? He's like, oh, my phone right here. Cool.
Got it.
Thank you for taking notes.
yeah. So I feel like we worked together on that to like, and he did. He took notes. And do you feel like he?
Yeah, there was like one little thing we had to kind of like
Redo.
like to kind of come back to and go over after a run through on Sunday. But overall, yeah, like he was nailed all the stuff that we wanted.
Yeah, because I was with him the first time he served, so I had that privilege. So weird.
Privilege it was.
That's why
I
that
learned how
coaching in a moment is so.
Girl.
Yeah, I learned how to do a click that
You're-
day.
I just watched you adapt, and like in wonder, I was like, you killed it.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I'd say from that time to this time, like huge improvement on his ability to sort of like take what we're giving him and then manage it.
Yeah,
So that was a huge win.
that's great.
Yeah. I felt like, to echo what everybody's saying about the new song, I thought it was great. I feel like I kind of got the rhythm of it, but then when Taylor and I are singing it together, it just felt like we were chasing the song, because even a slight deviation from his strange way he does that bridge part that we've already touched on,
Then you're off.
it just feels like if you don't hit that syncopated, like right there on the point, it gets it way off. So it's almost like it's hard to sing with more than one vocal on that bridge and like completely nail the rhythmic pattern of it.
Yeah.
So that was like the one thing, like how to improve that, I don't know. But other
Just
than that,
rewrite the bridge. You could use a
Rewrite the
rewrite
bridge.
anyway.
so that was the snapshot for our campus. I feel like I personally tried to ask for feedback from more people. Like I asked Aaron, and he was just saying like, you know, we just want to make sure that we connect on Slack. He had Slacked me, and I was 2 days late on following up because I was like, I had a really kind of crazy week, but that's no excuse. I need to be making sure that I'm, you know, following up. So I apologized to him on that, and then I asked Rocky for feedback, and he was like, "It's good, it's great, it's good, it's great." So I was like, anything else? Like, no, it was great. So
Thanks.
yeah, I
You
don't know.
sound amazing.
Awesome. It's like,
Okay,
well, I just say it was good. You guys were great. Moving on.
that was it.
Awesome. Cool.
We had a pretty full band this week and some solid instrumentalists. So then I took the opportunity to experiment with a few things. So we had Spencer on drums, we had James Gibson on bass, and I was like a gorilla lean on that rhythm section. So Daniel Jung, I realized in serving with them at Moreno Valley in that setting, has a really awesome voice, and when he's not freaked out, it's really cool. So I've been trying to, in the past few months, develop him more into even I love to see him leading stuff. So I gave him a lead this weekend with Yes I Will. And the one thing that was a bummer is at the beginning, he kept doing this thing where he would just sing it very long and very legato, and I kept kind of trying to coach him on hey, let's because it's kind of coming after the beat, and it was an improvement on Sunday. It still was a little bit there, but I don't think to the point where anybody noticed except for me. But his voice is really he has this really sweet voice, and people were like, man, yeah, that guy he was cool. I'm so happy because yeah, he's doing it. But I have a video of that because Adrian took video of that, so I could show you guys, and you could tell me if maybe I made a terrible mistake. But but I don't think they did.
Yeah, great job or terrible?
He did so great, but you guys sounded way off.
No, I don't want to
Yeah.
just make this in a vacuum.
No,
but
that's a perfect example of how we learn what our musicians can do. And in Moreno Valley, those are the places where we figure that out. Those are the places where we try it. Trying it on a Thursday night is the best, because Thursday night, if it doesn't work, you make that call. As long as you're setting as long as you're managing their expectations. So if you let him try it Thursday night and it doesn't go well, he's fully prepared for him not to be singing on Sunday. It's not like, hey, I want you to sing a solo this weekend. It's, hey, I'm going to try this on Thursday night. Let's see how it goes. That's a person who's like, okay, goes well, I'm on it. It doesn't go well, I'm not. That's how we manage people's expectations from all of a sudden, what do you mean I'm not the main lead? Well, that's good.
Yeah, so that was cool. That was I think pretty much the highlight of the weekend for me. I also didn't play guitar on Praise Goes On, which was different because it was weird. It's weird. I've been trying to grow in that though, because I didn't need to. The band was playing and it's just gonna be just a security blanket. So I had talked to Isaiah Franco the week before, and he encouraged me to do that if I ever got the chance, so I could kind of be more engaging and everything. And yeah, it was still weird, but it was less weird than the last time, so I've done it. So
That's good. Way to stretch yourself. That's good. Awesome. Good attendance again at Moreno Valley?
yeah,
Sweet.
yeah, it's been blowing up over there. And there were a lot of kids, I think, because their parents kicked them out. But there were almost 600 people at one, in total it was 597.
Yeah, you guys have been hitting that 600 the last 2 weeks. That's great. There you go. All right, the other one.
Highlight at East Valley was at sang one song, and I handed everything off to Stephanie, and Daniel got up.
Nice.
What happened to your band?
I just had an acoustic set
Oh,
because.
I didn't see anyone.
What did you do? We had an acoustic set because the past few weekends we've had full bands, and because it's like the same people almost every weekend, I just want to give them a break.
Good job.
Thank you. So that was nice, and Rocky led communion Saturday night and did really well. But yeah, I gave Stephanie that transition between worship into the message, and she killed it. Quick prayer, had them be seated, take a seat.
Can I make a note right there? Can we take the note that's currently in Planning Center off, which is have everyone take a seat, exclamation point. Let's take that off of there and put something like, if I could have recorded Eddie's from this past weekend, it was a quick prayer upwards and this quick direction outwards, and he was off. And that was like, so long.
Cool.
Yeah. And sometimes it might be a longer prayer just based on the set, but at the end of that set, he was like, Jesus, we love you. It was just, and this is so good. Thank you guys for singing. We'll prepare our hearts for Pastor Matt to come out. It was really good.
Do you want there to be anything in there? It's actually part of the template that they pulled in now, so you should take that out. But do you want anything even in the notes?
I would
Because
have
we're putting
like,
them in this.
I would have like a short prayer, ask people to be seated. I 90% of the time, I think praying to close the set keeps the focus on Jesus, and then we amen, and then we ask people to sit, as opposed to Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. All right, you guys, thanks for singing. You can sit down. Like that's where it feels to me like, what just happened? So, that makes sense.
Can you do that in the template? I don't want to be.
You win.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I was at Palm last night, and it was just nuts.
Dan's already told me about it.
I don't know, like it was just great. We had a full band. They didn't have the house lights on. I don't know if they usually do that, but I just felt like the engagement in the room was on fire, and Dan's body was moving on the deck up there, whatever.
There was 180 people there.
Yeah,
Whoa.
there was a lot of people.
Oh shoot.
Pablo was coming through.
What's that?
He said Fredo was just masterful.
Oh yeah,
It
the
was-
way he led communion, and he was like, he said one thing. If you're a young couple and this is your first time visiting Santa's church and you're wondering if this is a church for you, he's like, it is. You need to come up here and talk to someone and get married. Yeah, it was
So awesome.
It was just great, and it was like a lot of like I had Daniel Gottlieb up there, Taylor Ridge, Princess, Drew,
Say
Danny
your
Martz,
names up.
Callan.
Easy tiger.
They were like all young adults,
Sorry,
and it
I
was
suffered
just
through that.
it was really cool. So
Great.
yeah.
Sweet. I want to get Steve and Cash. Cash was at Montclair. So I had a little video from Brett Maxwell. That was super exciting for them. Want to hear from Steve about banning. So I think we're gonna create like a way for them to do a little video and send it in that we can like pop up on the screen and show during the meeting so we can hear from everybody. Johnny was at Palm. That's a great update. I sent you guys that article that I thought was really, really good. I'm gonna go back here to it. I think that, one of the things that you have to balance as a worship leader, especially as a worship leader who's up most weekends, is how to navigate between feeling like it and not feeling like it, loving your band, loving the songs, not loving the songs, feeling sick, feeling good. That's why I love the first sign of this, your heart isn't in it. Like, we've all been there. We might be there right now. But just as I read through this, I just wanted to, we don't have time for everybody to share, but he had 4 points, and then the last was a where are you? But I wanted to key in on the very first point that he made, which was embrace the sacrifice. this was so good. He said, when we worship someone or something, we express our love and devotion, and sacrifice is the purest expression of love. Sacrificial love forgives the friend who hurt you. Sacrificial love feeds the baby at 3 a.m. Praise hands, Matt. Sacrificial love sings to the Lord even when it's hard. Embracing the sacrifice means you don't have to feel like worshiping God in order to worship Him. In fact, the worship we give in moments of pain or fatigue or distress may be a sweeter song in God's ear than the worship of a sunny day. Let's just all sit right there and go, okay. I'd love to hear from you. That's what resonated most with me. I've been a worship leader for over 15 years, singing in church for close to 40. My dad had me up there when I was like 2, like trying to hold a microphone. So it's just what I know. It's just what I know. And while that's looked like a lot of different settings over the years, it's very, very easy to go on autopilot and to just dig out from, I know how to do this, and my heart's not there. But reading those words, embracing the sacrifice, the worship we give in moments of pain or fatigue or distress may be sweeter than worship on a sunny day. I feel like that's what we all have to dig into as worship leaders in a growing church. We need to be reminded often that this is not happening everywhere. That 600 people showing up, that packing out a Sunday night service, that running out of space for people to sit is not the norm in the American church. There are churches who are contacting us on a weekly basis because they can't pay their bills for one more month. They can't keep the lights on. They don't have people there. So while what we experience is definitely tiring and it's definitely challenging, and we're being stretched and we're being challenged to grow, to become the best versions of ourselves, and within that, there's some battle. There's some battle with pride, there's some battle with experience and wisdom, and there's battle with just what's my place in all of this. I say to you, engage in that battle. Like, lean into that. Don't run away from it. Move into it. God's growing us the most in the messes of life. That's where He's doing His best work. But embrace the sacrifice of worshiping on empty. Like, don't wait to get full. Don't wait to be filled. Don't wait to feel like it, to give it your all. Worship in the waiting. Worship in the wanting. Worship in the, you haven't met my need yet. Worship in the, I haven't figured that out yet. Worship in the, this is hard, this is taxing, this is, read the Psalms, you guys. David's in the cave, like, they're about to take his head off. And he's like, but God has not forgotten me. God will not. God is my shelter and my refuge. The next chapter, where are you, God? He was like so real, like, you're there, where are you? This is, that's what authentic worship really looks like. So I think, I think that for our team right now, especially as we're getting ready to bring another couple in this week to potentially move their whole life from Australia. I thought I had it hard to move it from the East Coast. Beck has never lived in America. Steve is an American citizen. He's lived here before for like 14 years. They just got married. Her whole family's there. I don't know what God's doing in their heart and their life. I don't know if Samuel's is the next part of their story. But I just feel blessed and honored. We had 5 more applications for worship leaders complete this week. They just keep coming. So that means to me, we need to steward the gifts and the opportunities that we've been given. We need to just embrace the opportunities that we have, and I think we also need to be reminded. One of the most humbling things you can do is spend time with someone who's better than you and farther ahead than you. I just did that this morning. I don't know if you've met Cindy, our senior director of human resources. She's a badass. Okay, just forgive my French. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you're freaking awesome. Her experience, her knowledge, where she's been, what she's done, what she's led, where she's taking us as an organization. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, she dwarfs me as a leader, just what she knows. But I was just like, my reaction to that was, when can I get more time with you? Like, when can we get together again? Because I want to learn, because I want to get better. I would always say, if your reaction to being around someone who's better than you is for you to put up a defense, for you to back off, for you to, I would say, man, wrestle with that pride. Like, what's going on there? Because God's usually going to get you to be better by putting you around people who are better. You know, when you're the king of the hill, you're like, I'm good. I'm like, no one's as good as me. And then you're not. Where's your challenge? Where's the motivation for you to get better? So don't be afraid of that. I think Matt touched on that in our worship forum. Don't be afraid of people who are more talented or people who have more experience. Rather than take on that approach of, oh, they're better than me, and that becomes a mindset that informs anxiety, that propels it, that perpetuates it, and that's not of God. Like, that's not what He wants for you, and that's not what He wants for His church. So as we bring Stephen back here this week, we're gonna have a team lunch on Thursday, Depot Express, Cafe Rio, because the Lord is good. It's just going to be a chance for us to get to know them. I'm going to ask them to share a little bit of their story, their background, let you guys, ask questions. Be real, but don't be like, what's your deepest, darkest sin, Steve? What's your core struggle? Like what? I would keep it, at a, hey, I want to get to know you kind of a level. They're going to leave with Eddie all weekend at Hunter Park. And I would just ask you to pray with me that I just think we're on the brink of something really special with worship at Sandals Church. I feel it when I'm at the campuses. I feel it when I'm leading. I feel it in our staff meetings. Matt's heart has been for us to become a worshiping church. We are the gatekeepers, and we are the leaders of that movement. So I would just ask you to be praying with me. Read more things like this. Get more into one of the things I'm doing, and I have a few different reading plans I do on YouVersion, but one that I'm doing right now that I highly recommend is it's called Untainted Worship. It's phenomenal. It's really, really good. It's saturated in scripture. I do a lot at one time, so I always have missed days on here because I'm like, don't put me in a box and tell me what to do. But I just want our hearts to be united and aligned with each other as we're doing what we're doing every week. And I want our hearts to be aligned that we want God to just come do something fresh and new and bring an anointing to our church that goes well beyond the motions and the rigor of the mechanics of what we do. That we do that whole piece, and then God comes in and goes, okay, now just stand back and let me do what I'm going to do. I want to know, like, what does it look like for the Holy Spirit to break out at Lake Arrowhead? What does it look like? I mean, Marina Valley's at 600 people coming every week. God's doing something. God's doing something there. So we just get to be a part of it. So just be in prayer. When you're tired, which we got away for 2 days and it was amazing, and we came home and Eddie got the flu, and now Elijah's sick. They're just going down, I'm like, I just want to go back to Laguna Beach where I wasn't with my sick kids. But just in the seasons of stress, of fatigue, of being tired, of being, I would really ask you to learn what it means to seek God in those moments, to prioritize Him, not run away from Him, and let Him fill you. Let Him fill you in ways that only He can, because we need it. We need His filling and His fueling to do what He's called us to do. We're deceiving ourselves if we think we can do it apart from Him. You can't. You can do it apart from Him. You can get up and lead songs and be doing whatever you want to do, but just don't expect God to show up. Just don't. Francis Chan gave one of the best talks I've ever heard about this. He slayed at a conference where he basically went off about lights, drums, and da-da-da-da-da. And what if we're doing all of this and the Holy Spirit's we never even checked in asked for, prayed for, expected, then what are we really doing? So just that starts with you. That starts with me right in here. So just continue to discipline yourselves to be in the Word. Share with someone, like, here's what I'm learning, here's what God's teaching me, here's what my time with God looked like this week. And continue to be vigilant and careful about engaging with people at your campus. You do need to steward your voice and steward your energy. You don't need to be out there all the time, but Kelly Welzell just remarked about how neat it was to see you out and about last weekend. People, when you are on stage in front of people, it's a weird thing that happens in people's mind. Like, my son, Maddie, I'm gonna share this right now, I'm gonna be done. Maddie's playing flag football because Elijah plays flag football, even though Maddie's a soccer player. He wants to play football because Elijah plays football. We find out about their practice 24 hours before it starts, which is always so fun. And I had already scheduled myself to do a small group training with young adults. So I dropped Maddie off at practice, and I'm setting my laptop and my phone up in my van in the parking lot to do this group leader training to keep my word, and also like for him to practice. I was fully prepared to let the coach know at the end of practice that I didn't appreciate the 24-hour notice. That I have 3 kids, I work full-time, my husband full-time, we don't have grandparents, we don't have aunts and uncles, I need a little bit more. And I was gonna say it with kindness, but I felt like it needed to be said. So I was fully prepared to do this. So I do the training, I wrap that up, that goes really well. Close my laptop, pull up to the practice, they're finishing up. Coach starts walking across the field, and I'm smiling because I'm not going to be rude. And I hear this lady go, "Oh my gosh, it's you!" So I'm looking around to see who's here because I'm like, she's like, oh my gosh, are you going to be here every week? Because my kid's on this team too. Oh my gosh, cultivate. And it was so weird. It was so uncomfortable. Other people are walking by like, who? Like, right? It was so, her reaction was just, she was like, but then it turned into, okay, Cultivate has like changed my life. Goes into the whole backstory, the whole thing, and now, and oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm gonna get to see you every Saturday. Do you guys know what I'm like at football games? This is gonna be so awesome. The girls in my group aren't gonna believe, like, this whole thing. And then I'm like, I'm not saying anything to the coach at this point. I'm not saying, but it was so weird, and it was the reminder of that's what happens when you're up in front of people. That's the weird thing that happens when you lead them in worship every week. You're somebody to them. You're a big deal to them. You're a leader to them. So engaging with them and being present with them as you can. And I like the idea of like designating a time. So Hunter Park after the 10 o'clock, we're gonna go da-da-da. Or at East Valley, it doesn't have to be after every service. You don't have to be out there all the time. But engaging people because it means a lot to them. It means a lot to them to get to know you, for you to know their name, for you to hear from them what being at Woodcrest means to their family, what having a church like Sales at Lake Arrowhead means for their community. It's just really important. So I don't want you to feel like you need to be doing that after every service for the whole entire time. You need to be with your team, you need to take care of your voice, you need to have some time to think and prep. But think about what that could look like if you're not already doing it. And encourage your team to get out there. They're on stage with you. And again, it just affects people in a strange way, but it's a real thing. And we don't want to be viewed as detached or apart from or like as divas or anything like that. And we also want to grow our teams. We want to get people to want to be on our team. So just kind of take that to heart as you're leading every week. But thank you for embracing the sacrifice, for leading when you don't feel like it, for leading when you're sick, for leading when the babies are sick, for all of the things that go into when your wife's not well, your husband, whatever. Thank you for persevering through all of that, because it is a sacrifice and it's making your church better. And you're growing through it. Whether you know it now or not, whether you like it now or not, you're growing. So, alright, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll pray for us really quickly and then we will go about our day. Pray for Eddie and I today. We're doing worship bullpen training with Rogo and Moises, Amy Kinjo, and Emily Harold. So so we've got them kind of, yeah. So, all right, let's pray. Jesus, thank you for what we get to do. Thank you that we get to be a part of what you're doing here. Thank you, God, that in the midst of our weakness, in the midst of our just kind of sometimes feeling depleted or not good enough or not able enough, thank you that you meet us in those places. Thank you that you show up and reveal yourself as really strong when we feel really weak. There's a multitude of needs in this room that we haven't spoken, but you know them and you see them. So I pray, God, that you would meet each and every one of us right where we're at. God, I pray for this week. I pray for Stephen Beck as they come hang out with us for a few days and we worship here. God, make your direction really clear to them and to us. God, we want to continue to do our best work for the kingdom, and we're grateful that you've included us in that work. Challenge us and encourage us and comfort us. But also, God, this week remind us of who you are and what we get to do draws people to that every single weekend. And let that be the foundation that fills us, that fuels us. Let that be what motivates us to bring our best self to the weekend worship experience. And may we never take it for granted. May we always be just undone. That us, knowing us the way that you do, choose to use us anyway. We're grateful for that. Thank you for this team. Thank you for those that couldn't be here. And thank you for what you're doing at Sandals Church. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.